We're kind of updating rumors from last time, and the time before, and the time before, and the time before, and the time before. Hello, nerds! It is that time once again. We have another episode of the Week in Nerdom right here on Generally Nerdy. It's a quick episode because it's kind of a slow news week. So that being said, thank you very much, nerds, for joining me. We got to jump in. There's actually some legit stuff in here that I'm kind of excited about. A little more Blue Beetle updates. But yeah, so let's just jump into the intro. And housekeeping for the episode, we have no new followers or subscribers to speak of since the last episode. So we're just doing the push one more time. We have Generally Nerdy on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of the places you can find me. Generally_nerdy on Twitter. Instagram, all one word. Facebook, all one word. TikTok, all one word. Yeah, definitely go check out all of the socials so that we can start to expand the possibilities for all of the content on the channel, because the more interaction and subscribers I have, the better the interviews will be. So if you are a fan of the content, then definitely make sure you find me on the socials. YouTube sometimes counts as a social media platform depending on who I'm talking to. If it's a band manager, that kind of matters. If it's a Comic-Con, they usually don't care so much about the YouTube. As long as there's enough followers on other platforms, then that is the way they go. So all of that being said, thank you very much, nerds. Also right here in shoutouts and housekeeping, no other real housekeeping to speak of, but today's episode is brought to you by this lovely shirt that I am wearing, and that is the Do You Even Pop Culture, Bro shirt. You can find that over on GenerallyNerdy.net. It is on it. Check the tab at the top is General Store. It is on the Teespring store, so go find it there. Get your very own. It's pretty freaking awesome. I think they're awesome. I think they're great. Words are a thing, and I apparently keep stumbling over mine. So that's what we're gonna do for shoutouts and housekeeping. Let's jump into the news. Music news. We are talking very briefly about a couple of new songs as well as new music video. So we do have Guns N' Roses has released a new song, kind of. So this is previously an unreleased song that was once referred to as Silkworm, is now been released as the song Absurd. It was originally written during the 2001 sessions for Chinese democracy. As we know at this point, there were many recording sessions for Chinese democracy, and it kind of turned into something that it wasn't billed as, but that's a whole other video. Yeah, so this is one of those songs from that crazy 20-year process, and yeah, it's not terrible, but go check it out. GNR is always a welcome addition. Even the mediocre GNR is better than most hard rock. And then follow-up technically on that video that we teased in the last episode, The Weeknd has officially released his video for Take My Breath. You can find the link to it down in the description. I have yet to watch it or listen to it because well-known reasons at this point. The list for reactions is growing as long as my arm. We're going to continue on, though, and we have tours to talk about, specifically one tour to talk about, and this one's actually tour and news, aside from the announcement of the tour. It is Soulfly is going on tour. So we'll talk about the tour real quick, and then we'll talk about the news surrounding the tour. They're touring with Incite, Go Ahead and Die, and Healing Magic, and then on some of the shows they have special guest appearances from the bands Niviane, I don't know if that's how you say that name, and Suicide Puppets. There are 33 dates on this tour. It is starting August 20th in Albuquerque, New Mexico, goes all the way through September 24th in LA. And so that's the tour information. The significant news around this, aside from the fact that Max Cavalera is finally going back on tour so we can all get our daily dose of heavy. Also, though, Dino Casares is going to be playing guitar for Soulfly on this tour. This is their longtime guitar player, Marc Rizzo, hasn't made an official announcement that he has left the band, nor has the band made an official announcement that he is gone, but he's not on this tour. He's going on a different tour with a different band. I can't remember the name of the band. I should have wrote it down, but I take amazing notes. Yeah, so it kind of stands to reason that maybe there's unrest in the Soulfly camp, but we won't know until they make it known. And until that point, that is what we have for the music section. Gaming and tech is a little tech heavy. So we're gonna start things off with TikTok. TikTok, ByteDance, their parent company, being in trouble in their homeland of China for privatized tutoring because China, I don't know, strange things. But it seems that they're trying to kind of scrape together all the money that they can through this thing that we call TikTok. And part of that is they are now testing out stories. That's all I know. It's not available to me on my TikTok yet, so that does mean it is in a beta stage of some degree. Don't know exactly where they're going to lay it out. We will keep tabs on it though, and we'll let you know as soon as I know. Our next piece has to go with, it's technically both tech and gaming, Pokemon Go. So at the beginning of the Kuvii, there were reasons why Pokemon Go was going to maybe not get as much traction as it once did, because you kind of had to go outside and do things in order to play Pokemon Go. So what they did, what Niantic, the company that makes the game, did, is they rolled out a couple of new features for the game so that you didn't necessarily have to be out and about as much in order to fully capitalize on the things you could do in the game, and the gyms and all this and that. So, as of August 1st, that has all been rolled back. The rolling back of Pokemon Go has created quite a stir in the Pokemon Go community. So Niantic is reconsidering, kind of. It does sound like they're not going to officially undo what they just did on the 1st of August, but they are going to change a couple of the requirements as far as how you can upgrade your Pokemon and so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that are being considered, but nothing is 100% laid out just yet. Once they do lay those things out, we will talk about them, but that is all we have right now for Pokemon Go. Our final piece, oh no, I apologize, our second to last piece in gaming and tech is Destiny 2, the new expansion, which is called the Witch Queen. We already know that's been pushed back to 2022. We are now looking at some of the other things that are coming besides just the story expansion. And then the Lightsiders one is been pushed out even further a little bit. But what we do know at this point for Destiny 2 is that there's going to be more than just this story pack. It's going to be multiplayer levels. At least one has been confirmed. It is much in the fashion of Bungie. It's going to be a map from Destiny 1. They're just retooling it for Destiny 2, making it a little bit bigger, but it's they didn't specify which map that was going to be. Otherwise, I would tell you, because that would be something that would make it into the notes. And also, there's going to be new play modes. Again, no details for any of this just yet, but once the Witch Queen launches, then there will be, we'll get play modes there, we'll get play modes in the interim past that, and then once Lightsiders comes out, it also sounds like there will be even more play modes. Again, once we know the specifics, we will follow up on this, but that is what we have there. Our actual final piece for gaming and tech is Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V just announced their final DLC for the game, at least for this Combat Pass. Listen to me, Mortal Kombat on the brain. The Fighter Pass this season, Season 5, the final character is a character named Luke, which seems pretty interesting. I find it incredibly interesting that Japan and Chinese developers apparently know the American market better than American developers, because if you look at Luke, which you have to be, on a video platform to be seeing him, but he's kind of a blonde white guy, and that's not something that a lot of American developers are putting in their games anymore. So I don't know, just an interesting dichotomy. I don't want to get too political, but there it is. This is is, though, the final character on this DLC pack. He is coming out in November, and then the previously announced fighters, Oro and Akira, are both coming, we now know, officially on August 16th, so just about a week and a half away. And with the arrival of Akira comes Rival Riverside Arena, which comes from the Rival Schools game, which is where Akira comes from to begin with, which is kind of awesome, and that is what we have for gaming and tech. Let's hit up TV streaming. So TV streaming, our first piece in follow-ups is one that I don't know how it skipped. It was in the notes from the last episode. I didn't talk about it, so we're talking about it now, and that is Lord of the Rings. The Amazon series now has an official release date, September 2nd of 2022. Again, should have talked about this ever so briefly last time. We didn't. We're moving on. And then 1883 is also a follow-up real quick. So casting announcement, 1883, real quick before we get into the casting announcement, TLDR, 1883 is the prequel series to the Yellowstone series on Paramount. That's all you need to know. So casting, we now have Sam Elliott, Tim McGraw, and his wife Faith Hill, or Faith Phil and her husband, Tim McGraw, however you want me to say that. They have all been cast in the prequel series. That's all we really know. Let's move right along. Bad Batch is officially getting a second season over on Disney+, so congratulations to everybody on the Bad Batch team. All right, so now on the follow-up side, we have to have another brief conversation about He-Man. So I have watched all the way through the first part of Season 1 of He-Man, I guess rather Masters of the Universe Revelation. There is not He-Man in the title. So I've also been keeping tabs on all of the crazy, oh, Kevin Smith lied news. And yes, I do agree Kevin Smith was less than forthcoming with the content of this series. You could even 100% say that he lied about it, because he did say that He-Man would not be sidelined. It is a series all about He-Man. That is definitely not the case. That we already know. Even regular mainstream media outlets are picking up on that part. So, to what degree were we lied to, I think, is the issue that a lot of nerds are taking right now. So if you look at the promotional art, which if you're watching me right now on any of the video outlets, then you are seeing exactly what I am speaking of. In the promotional art, we see Adam, He-Man, holding both sides of the sword. The sword doesn't get split until after he's or through the process of him dying. Spoiler alert, I guess, because we all already know that he dies in the first episode. So, the split happens in the process of him dying. So in the promotional art, there is, I believe, even a video of him holding the two sides of the sword of power. In order for that to happen, the events in the first episode had to take place for it to split in half. And then the tagline was bringing power, or bringing magic back to Eternia, or something along those lines. So again, that all was not exactly a lot. Yes, it was misleading. Yes, we were led to believe that it was going to be He-Man doing all of the things. 100% agree there. But I feel like there is a lot going on here that the nerds on the Comicsgate, whatever conservative side of this argument are saying, oh, this is woke garbage. Well, it's actually pretty well done. Yes, there are definitely issues with Teela and her girlfriend as far as the way they deal with magic and their interactions with it and their feelings about it throughout the series. But by and large, if 6-year-old me was watching this, I would still think it was pretty freaking awesome. So there's that. And then the new thing that has sprung up around He-Man is that Kevin Smith is quiet now about his Masters of the Universe lies, and he's not defending himself anymore. The man, he's a busy man. He doesn't have time to sit on the internet and argue with a bunch of nerds who don't have anything better to do than run YouTube channels and argue these things ad nauseum. So he spoke his piece. Granted, again, there is a lot of backpedaling. There is a lot of issues with what he had to say. I am not arguing that. What I am saying is he's in the middle of filming a freaking movie. He's, as of me filming this, I believe they are on day 5 of him filming this movie. So technically, he went for approximately 6 or 7 days without saying anything about Masters of the Universe. Oh no! And then all of the conservative nerds lose their minds for nothing. He took a break. He gave himself a mental break before he embarked on another project that has been in the works for years. Again, I understand the uncomfort, the discomfort, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I understand the unrest, there we go, in the community because, again, I've said it a number of times, I was a huge He-Man fan as a kid. So I know the pain that is, you know, you told us it was going to be just like the one from our childhood, and then it really, really wasn't. Totally understood, noted, 100% agree. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's address the series as it is. Let's address the thing for what it should be and not for what we want it to be. We can argue or we can make these points until we're blue in the face, but as it stands, we have a piece of nerddom that needs to be analyzed without taking into ridiculous considerations of what we expected. So, I don't know, that's just my 2 cents, and I think that's probably going to be the last time we really talk about this unless the Evelyn half of this season really kind of flies off the rails. But honestly, I'll give you a little bit of an expectation. I expect in the second half of season 1, we will get a little bit more He-Man. Adam will come back. We've already been told by Kevin. Now, I know his word doesn't mean a whole lot in the community right now, and I totally appreciate those comparisons to Kevin and Tim Burton when Kevin said, well, Tim Burton's obviously never read a Batman book. Did you see Batman? Yes, I know. That's a great comparison and very apt for this. But now that we have the thing and it's in motion, we don't have a release date yet for the second half of season 1, unfortunately. Likely it will be within the next 3 to 4 months, I would imagine. 6 months at the longest. My expectation, yes, we will get, just like Kevin said in his last defense and the last words that he had to say on the subject, we will get all the Evelyn story. That is going to happen, probably going to ruin Evelyn in that they're going to make her a good guy because she couldn't help but be a bad guy because she was being oppressed by Skeletor or whatever. So that's very likely to happen. The other thing I am expecting and I am anticipating is that we will see Adam be the one to bring the sword back together. The sword of power will come to be once more in the hands of Adam, though I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of screen time. I'm just putting that out there. Let's move right along, shall we? And then we have a couple of trailers to discuss. First up is the new Cobra Kai announcement trailer. Cobra Kai Season 4 is coming later this year, December to be specific, so that's pretty freaking awesome. And then our other trailer is also a teaser trailer. It's a little bit longer, but you know, it is what it is. Finally, we are seeing Y: The Last Man. We now have some actual screen time with it. September 13th is when it's going to be hitting Hulu. That's all we've got. Let's continue into the news. We have a big piece of news surrounding South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They just signed a $900 million contract to keep the show on the air until 2027. So what is that? 5 more years? Because their contract was up through the end of this year. So 22 through 27 is the new contract. Also part of this contract, 14 new movies that are all going to go directly to Paramount Plus. That includes 2 movies that are going to be on the service by the end of this year. So we went from 1 properly released South Park movie to, in the next 5 years, we're going to have 14. That is more than 2 movies a year. I think that could be awesome, but I really suspect it's going to be a little less than. but that's just me. We're moving right along. Our next piece of streaming news has to do something less conventional on the streaming side, and specifically to do with Metallica. Metallica is doing a new podcast, which is a streaming platform, so we're talking about it here. So their new podcast is in association with Amazon Prime. No word as to the release date just yet, or exactly how long the podcast is going to last, though we do know that the podcast will last at least 8 episodes, because the first 8 episodes are what they're going to release in a batch. They're presumably recording them right now as we speak, and they're going to be about the making of the Black Album, the self-titled album from 1991 that kind of threw the metal community all up in a huff, and this isn't metal, this is not, oh, it's a great record, guys. Let's just get over it, move on. Yeah, so Metallica doing a podcast. Don't know exactly how the Trujillo angle is going to play into that, because Robert Trujillo really wasn't in the picture, the Metallica picture anyway, at that time in the music community. So I don't know, it'll be really interesting. I'm sure this is going to be not Joe Rogan levels of big, but it's going to be massive. And then our final piece of TV streaming has to do with a new streaming platform. I guess I probably could have put this in gaming and tech, but I don't know, it seemed more appropriate here. So IMDb TV, those of you who have Amazon Prime already know that that is a thing, but it now officially has its very own standalone platform. So all of the free stuff that you were getting, ad supported, but still free on Amazon Prime, you can now get on your iOS or Android device and stream it all you want, separate. You don't have to access it through and go find the channel in your Amazon Prime and blah, blah, blah. It's a standalone. You can go check the link in the description, video to show notes, whatever, and see for yourself how to get your hands on this free streaming app. There's actually really good stuff on there. Mad Men is the only one that's coming to mind right now, but I know there's a lot of stuff. I watch something on IMDb TV at least once a week. Usually I'm rewatching Mad Men, and then I'm also watching another movie that they offer there. The commercials, just like you would get from YouTube if you don't have a subscription to YouTube Premium, pretty on par there. So if you're used to that, you're used to this. It's whatever. It's awesome either way. Let's move right along. Movies is almost our smallest section. Comic books and books was non-existent for this episode, but movies is right there, almost non-existent. We have 2 pieces in movies. First is a follow-up, and this one was to be expected. Again, I'm going to butcher the kid's name. Zolo Maridueña is in fact going to be playing Jaime Reyes in the Blue Beetle movie. Yes, I'm freaking stoked. I love Blue Beetle. I love Jaime Blue Beetle specifically. That is great stuff. Also, I couldn't think in the last episode, though I put it in the image if you were watching the episode. Zolo is from, again, sorry if I'm saying that name wrong. He is from Cobra Kai. He is one of the kids from Cobra Kai, one of the main kids from Cobra Kai. Names I didn't put in the notes because, again, I take amazing notes. But yes, he's the main Cobra Kai kid that started the whole series with all the things, and I'm rambling. Let's move on to our other piece of movie news. An announcement for, I think we talked about this, so this is technically a follow-up. It's a casting announcement for the movie Renfield. I think we said it in passing when it was first announced. Well, they have now apparently cast their lead for the movie, and it is going to be none other than the Beast himself. Nicholas Hoult will be playing the title role of Renfield. Renfield, if you don't remember, is Dracula's little lackey. I'm super intrigued by this. I think Nicholas Hoult is a great actor. I think this is a fun property. This is a great horror property. I am on board with all of this. All of this sounds amazing. Let's move right along, though. Rumor mill. Nothing crazy this time, though we're kind of updating rumors from last time, and the time before, and the time before, and the time before, and the time before. All right, so the first rumor has to do with those Flash rumors, are actually technically the Superman rumors, but it's on the set of the Flash movie. So the Superman rumor that we discussed last time, saying that Henry Cavill won't be playing the role ever again. Now it seems that we have a new rumor that's a little more solid than that one, saying that actually Henry Cavill has been seen on this. Well, okay, let's be a little bit more specific. Superman has been seen on the set of The Flash. They did not say specifically which Superman. There has been other rumors associated with this that said, oh yeah, well, it's gonna be Henry Cavill because one of the leakers claims to have gone to school with Henry Cavill because that somehow gives him insider information. Whoa! So we already know, again, we talked about this in the last one, there is very likely at least a cameo left on his contract. So that definitely lends itself to this this rumor. And this comes from better sources originally. So the likelihood that we will see Henry Cavill as Superman in this movie for a very brief second as a real quick cameo, pretty likely, not the most likely. So we're looking at about 65% likelihood that this is a thing. Our next rumor has to do with something very, very similar. This time it is Black Adam. And the Black Adam, somewhere at the end of the movie, potentially the post-credit stinger, something along those lines, we are reportedly going to be seeing Henry Cavill play Superman. I feel like the Flash movie is likely because of a contractual obligation. I feel like the Black Adam movie is also likely, but not out of contractual obligation. I think that The Rock's relationship with Henry Cavill is as such, and their same management team and so on and so forth, is as such that they probably convinced Cavill to do this for a one-off kind of contract deal that is separate from his contractual obligations that are putting him in the Flash. So likelihood here, because of those connections, because of a lot of things, I think this one's slightly more likely than even the last rumor. So we're putting this one at about 70. I think last time we talked about The Rock, or the Black Adam movie and Superman, it was right about the same likelihood. There's just too many connections there for this to be less than likely. Does that make sense? All right. So we're moving right along to our next rumor. And this one's a lot of fun. I don't think there's a lot of ground here, but I think it's a lot of fun to consider because of all of the factors involved. So what is the rumor? The rumor is that Tom Holland, his contract, this part's not rumor, I guess, his contract is up very soon. The next Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, is the last movie on his contract. He's done all of his the cameo things, he's done all of the ensemble things, and he's done his 3 main movies for Sony. So that part of his contract is up. He is under renegotiations. He has said he wants to play this character for as long as possible, so I don't see that we won't be getting Tom Holland in the spider suit again after No Way Home. I think it's very likely, but that's not the rumor. The rumor here is that part of these negotiations have something to do with a Spider-Man and X-Men crossover movie. Weird. So, again, we know that Feige wants to try a lot of these questionable things out in comic books before they go into the MCU proper. This one has kind of happened a number of times in the comic books, but it has been more specifically Spider-Man and Wolverine. They've done a number of arcs together, not Spider-Man and the X-Men as a whole. That could be enough, though, that Feige thinks that it would work, so they might not try out anything more. I don't know. There's a lot of weird going on here. I also don't think that Feige and Disney are going to put a lot of stock into their relationship with Sony so that they can have that kind of crossover and they can have the things that would be involved with this. So that kind of lends against it. I feel like, as it stands right now, this is very potentially going to happen long term. Once we've gotten a couple of movies under the new contract's belt, that seems a little bit more likely. But as part of the negotiations for the new contract, not bloody likely. So we're going to put this one about 30% that it is in negotiations now. I feel like there's way too much that needs to happen before this can be actualized. So yeah, not super likely. And then our final rumor is a gaming rumor. That actually comes from some pretty good sources, so I think it's legit. We'll get into it. All right, so Grand Theft Auto, there's been a number of rumors that we've covered over the last few months, really, that deal with this franchise. This new rumor is something that is, by comparison, pretty small, because technically it's a game that already exists. This rumor says that we're going to get the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, so Grand Theft Auto 3, San Andreas, and Vice City. Those 3 games already exist in a single package for the, I believe it was the Xbox 360 that they were repackaged for, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. This new rumor says that that package is going to get remade, so revamped, I guess is a better way to put it, because they're not adding any content necessarily, they're just making it look shinier than it once did. There is a strong possibility here, especially considering what we are pretty sure we know about Grand Theft Auto 6, it being, approximately 2 to 3 years away minimum. I think a stopgap is in order. They have already put out their Red Dead game. I think the bully situation is long dead. So having some sort of Grand Theft Auto content aside from GTA Online makes a lot of sense. I'm going to put this one right about 70% as well, because yeah, this is something that I'm sure Rockstar can do in a couple of months' time and then put out to pretty good fanfare, and then they can bridge the gap between now and the actual release of Grand Theft Auto 6. So that is what we have for our rumors today, nerds. It's also what we have for the episodes. What did I miss? What should we talk about in the next one? Let me know in the comments down below. If, though, you want to go deeper into the conversation, there is a website, generallynerdy.net. There is a Patreon, patreon.com/generallynerdy. But the places that you can join the conversation that are a little bit more impactful right now would be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Go find the things and the stuff. Look for the Nerdy Ninja, because that is my guy. And yeah, if you're falling behind in your nerd news and you want to catch up, you can click or tap one of the boxes that should be showing up right there to the side of my face. You do the things, join in on the stuff, and we will see you in the next one. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.